Okay, and guys, what's going on? Cloud Plays here, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're inside of Diablo 4, and there is a lot going on with a lot of discussions that are happening, including some announcements and maneuvers from the Director of Product inside of Diablo 4. We also have some moves from Joseph Pipora, the Game Director, and we've got a load of stuff going on the Reddit that you guys have quite obviously wanted to word out, and a lot of people are agreeing. So with that being said, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also, feel free to check out our sponsor, Advanced GG, the #1 clinically proven energy supplement on the market. Code CLOUD at checkout for the cheeky little discount. The link is in the description. Go and check it out. I'd appreciate it greatly. With that being said, let's dive on into today's video. So Keegan Clark, the Director of Product on Diablo 4, has got some interesting maneuvers when it comes towards the Sorcerer and the Druid based on the way that they look. She posts up a post right here stating, "Hey Sorcerers who play as a masculine body type, show me images of the types of male Sorcerer outfits you want to wear, please." There was a lot of really good responses to that, and we were all intrigued as to why this was a thing. I'm hoping that they go by a load of the images, because there was a lot of really good inputs that people made. And later on in the day, she posted up stating, "Thanks for all the awesome images and feedback on male Sorcerer armors. The team is looking at this now. It takes a while to build the art for armor sets, so we appreciate your patience. But it's nice to know that there are more armor sets that are going to be coming for the Sorcerer. I think for me personally, the Sorcerer has quite a feminine look regardless of whether it is the masculine or the other, and I think that that is quite a frustrating outcome, mainly because when you've got such tanky beasts such as the Druid and the Barbarian, sometimes you don't want to have such a specifically styled character, and you kind of want it to look the way that you want it to look, and the cool variations on it are kind of capped based on what class it is you go for. But while we're talking about that though, she actually also posted up saying, "We'll have more new and different looks coming for Druid in Season 2, stay tuned, and please share images if you have specific looks you want to rock." Now, I think this is actually really good, and I feel like they are taking a lot of inspiration off of what the community are wanting with this, given that they actually listened to it, because there are some very cool variations, one of which was quite a cool concept art for a Mortal Kombat character, Sub-Zero, and for me that personally is a really cool look. And if they could get some sort of inspiration off of some of the Mortal Kombat characters, which apparently Keegan Clark does entertain, there could be some really cool variations for our characters coming up very soon. But now going towards Joseph Pipora, he puts up this right here, which is quite interesting actually. He states, "I wanted to ask on stream today, but I'll do it in a Twitter poll instead because I'm curious. What do you think the legendary drop chance for treasure goblins is at level 50 plus? Now, 42% of you voted for 10%. Now, I can ultimately definitely see as to why, as out of all of the treasure goblins that I've gone against so far, I haven't actually had a legendary drop once, and I have put a fair few hours into this game now, and I don't seem to have had any legendary drops from them at all. Granted, my character right now is, I believe, just coming up to about 60, so I think that that obviously gives a bit of a time scaling from 10 levels for this character, and in my previous character I think we managed to get to about 65, 70, and again that is only about 20 levels plus. But it is quite intriguing to know what the actual percentage is, because he doesn't actually reveal that, but it's quite interesting to know that he's asking the question for sure. Loot goblins in the original game in Diablo 3, the loot tinks were a little bit more entertaining, they were a little bit more rewarding, and it felt like they were actually an exciting thing to find, whereas right now it's just kind of oh look, there's a loot goblin, let's just go and kill it, see what we can get, and you kind of walk away like disappointed as per usual, a lot like a lot of other events inside of the game. Now, they do go on and move into some questions from you guys. Now, a guy called Bob on Twitter states, "I don't know if this has been answered yet, but do you think it's possible to add an in-game notification when a world boss or legions are about to spawn? Similar to Helltide notifications, but with sounds. It's hard to monitor the map, especially if you're inside the dungeon or busy comparing items and fixing stats." Joseph Pipora says, "This is something we're discussing internally. So I'm quite looking forward to that one. I think that that is quite an important one. I think you can actually miss quite a lot of events, especially if you get lost inside of the Nightmare Dungeon grind that we all know that we're doing right now. And then on top of that, the amount of time you'll spend going through loot and fixing up your build is more time than I think any of us care to actually admit. So for me personally, I've probably missed a lot of Legion events, and for the world boss events, I still haven't even done one. That's how flipping annoying these things are. I think they need to reduce the time gate on them, pop the notifications in there for them, and then maybe I might actually get to play one. But I'm definitely not staying up till 1 in the morning to play that bloody world boss. That's just not happening. Next up though, one that ultimately winds me up beyond belief, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree, is this guy right here. Says, this dungeon death respawn location is getting further. Might as well respawn me outside the dungeon. Please sir, change it. Make it at least 2 screens away from the crime scene. And Joseph Pipora says, okay, we'll take a look. I don't know how this is something that you can This is an evident issue, and it is beyond frustrating. If you do happen to die inside of a dungeon, no matter whereabouts it is you are, you always end up right near the beginning of the dungeon. Sometimes, obviously, if you die a little bit closer, you'll respawn right at the entrance. But 9 times out of 10, it's quicker to run out of the dungeon than to run back to your death location. For me, it's beyond frustrating, and that is definitely something they need to fix. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with this, because this one that actually really tickles my pickle. Moving on to some of your comments. So on Reddit, someone says here, as someone who has been playing Diablo since the first one released, I'm having a lot of fun. That is all. Now the edit on this actually says, stay a while and listen. I have only just started to touch the end game, so maybe there is something to say about the game at this point. But do you really need 100% a game before you have an opinion on it? Honestly though, if I spent hundreds of hours in just a few weeks playing any game, I would feel the way so many do. But I have a life, and as a casual orgy enthusiast, I have much more important matters to attend to than min-maxing my bitterness and rage for a video game. I'm not saying that the game is perfect, but if you focus on screeching less about the negative online and just play the game for what it is, you'll enjoy it more. Maybe it's a generational issue. When I played Diablo 1 and 2, we didn't have internet. There were no updates, and the game you bought was the game you got, so you learn to enjoy with what you had. Despite the flaws, sometimes you just have to sit back, take a breath, and appreciate what you have. I hope some of you can one day accept that. And actually, he holds a very valid point. Today's day and age, gaming is very, very different, and there are obviously updates on a regular basis. But when we were actually gaming, and I'm going to show my age here, but when we were actually gaming when we were younger, there were just absolutely none of this. So I originally started playing Diablo and Diablo 2, and I also was playing a lot of first-person shooters and stuff on the N64 and on the PlayStation 1. And these guys didn't update anything. Everything was through a disc. The disc was formatted the way that it was, and the game released in the format that it actually had. What we had was what we had, and actually some of those games from when we were younger definitely seem to have much more of a standing and lasting effect on me than any of the games that we've been playing as of recent. We'll obviously have the exceptions such as Elden Ring and stuff like that, but the game's Simpson Hit and Run is one of the most renowned games that everyone wants a remake of, but yet it was just a game that they launched out and we played it the way it was, point blank. Now I want to take a look at this one right here, because this one's quite an interesting one and was actually taken down by moderators. So we took a bit of a dive in to see if we can find a screenshot of it, and we actually managed to find one right here. And what people were saying about it is title, I feel duped. Had fun at first, but now I'm at the end game and their idea of difficulty is being frozen and stunned by every attack. Forced to do nothing until my character dies. It's like they walked in my space, took my keyboard away, waited for my character to die, and then gave it back to me. Who keeps telling devs that players enjoy not playing their game while playing their game? That is all this is. I am not being outsmarted. There is no skill issue. This is literally them saying you no longer play the game you paid for while playing the game you paid for. Crowd control makes no sense in the way that they have it in this game, and it is frankly brain dead. Now, I don't know why that was removed. I think that actually he has a solid point in it, and I am not afraid to say that actually CC in this game, as far as the crowd control goes, is absolutely atrocious. One of the most annoying thing ever is the fact that you can stand in between an absolute horde of enemies, have maybe 3 or 4 elites, be able to hold your own and slowly take away their health and stuff like that, to then be absolutely walloped over the head by some giant cleaver and be stunned for the next 4 seconds to find out that you actually die. The problem is that they all cause so much damage in succession with each other that once you are stunned or frozen by hitting a freeze pool or whatever, that you actually then deplete in life so quickly that you can't even heal while you're stunned or while you're frozen or anything like that. I think they need to come up with a new difficulty mechanic when that regard comes in, because for me that's probably the most frustrating thing ever, and half of the reason why I die in this game. Nightmare dungeons, I can hold my own. Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle, which means that I'm in the right world tier and I'm doing the right thing, but then when I actually get punched down with a stun or a freeze or something like that, it just holds me dead in my space, and it does it for a good few seconds, and then I'm mullered. So this is just the issue that we're walking into. The poison effects and stuff like that, I agree with. I think that they work really well, although maybe a little bit high. They do work really well indeed, and I think that that motive isn't too bad. But to freeze me solid for maybe 4 seconds for the entirety of the room to just pound on me like some punch bag is a little bit unheard of. But let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section. I'm a little bit confused as to why moderators took this one down. They state here that the reasons are to include keeping communities safe, civil, and true to their purpose. So I think that's a little bit silly, and maybe you should rethink that takedown personally. Anyway, that's all we got time for today. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up, subscribe, post notifications turned on. Appreciate your faces, and as always, see you in the clouds.